to watch the Fever Seattle Storm game. And I truly believe this might be one of the first instances in my life that I made schedule plans around a Sunday WNBA game in the month of August, because coming off of Caitlin Clark's Friday performance in the Fever's first game back from the Olympic break, Fever played the Mercury. Fever came back and beat the Mercury. Caitlin Clark had 29 points and 10 assists in the win, and you're thinking, what a good case for rest. I love rest. Never underestimate the power of a little R&R, an opportunity to actually reset. We've talked extensively about Caitlin Clark going straight from, and all of the rookies in the WNBA, having to go straight from the grueling season into March Madness, into the WNBA draft, into training camp, into the WNBA season, and then it's like whoosh, it takes off and it never ends. And now you have this Olympic break, and since Caitlin Clark was not on Team USA, she was able to be back, and her team worked throughout that off period, also got some much needed rest throughout that off period. So Sunday rolls around, and I see that Caitlin Clark is 2 assists away from breaking the single season rookie assist record that was set by Tisha Penicheiro back in 1998. As a young girl who grew up playing basketball in the US, every coach said, you want to pass like Tisha, because she was the best passer in the game. Shout out the Sacramento Monarchs, gone but never forgotten. And Caitlin Clark was 2 assists from breaking her record. And so I was like, I would like to watch the end of the golf on TV. I would like to watch Caitlin Clark on TV. And so I sat down on my couch and I fired that up, and I was rewarded with a really fun game between the Fever and the Storm. Caitlin Clark tied the assist record in the first quarter. She broke the assist record in the second quarter. Some of the passes that she made yesterday were incredible. My favorite of which was a near full court pass to Kelsey Mitchell right here, where Caitlin Clark looks like a quarterback. And as of today, she sits with the most assists in the league. Her passing, here's the assist to Kelsey Mitchell. Caitlin Clark off the miss. That is a bullet to Kelsey Mitchell. She had one of those right around Brittany Griner on Friday, also to Kelsey Mitchell, I think. And that is a part of this. Like the rest of the Fever team, they're gelling. They're learning to play as quickly as Caitlin plays. Some of those bobbled passes and turnovers that Caitlin Clark had early in the season are turning into finishes by her team. They are playing well. But to watch Caitlin Clark yesterday figure out a way to help lead that team to a big win over a Seattle Storm team that has multiple All-Stars, multiple WNBA champions, and the best player on the court was Caitlin Clark. And it had me sitting there yesterday saying, the Rookie of the Year contest is over, and it is a storybook kind of season for Caitlin Clark, who came into her first year in the WNBA with everything to prove, with the highest of expectations, and she has knocked it out of the park. And this is a league that not only existed before Caitlin Clark's existence, but thrived before Caitlin Clark ever stepped foot in this league. But now, because of her play and because of what she is doing, it is set up for the foreseeable future to be must-watch TV on a Sunday afternoon, so that somebody like me decides to change what they are going to do on a weekend to sit down and watch a WNBA game. And I thought that was a really cool thing to experience. And that Fever team, they're going to make the playoffs. 8 teams make the playoffs, and the Fever have won their 2 games coming out of the Olympic break. Caitlin Clark looks fantastic. She's had 20-plus points in 5 of her last 6 games, along with the assists. But Kelsey Mitchell is cooking. Aaliyah Boston continues to grow. She nearly had a triple-double yesterday with a career-high 8 assists. You had Lexi Hall making every 3 she was taking with 22 points off the bench. It's all clicking for this Fever team. And I have to admit, I did not think that it would happen this quickly, and I am eating my words.
Didn't think it would happen. I didn't either. We're both eating them. I didn't think it would happen this quickly. And it's still, I think both teams still have 10 games left. What a great storyline down the stretch of the WNBA season. You'll always have your main storyline being, one of your main storylines rather being, hey, who's going to get the 1 seed? The Liberty, they ended up securing a playoff spot over the weekend.
First team to clinch.
First team in the WNBA.
Best team in the WNBA right now.
I don't know about all of that.
I'm saying it.
I will argue that it's the Lynx that are the best team. The Liberty got dudettes out there, cough, coffee, and Eskew. I need to see you do it before I start believing in you, dog. Like, I don't know what to say to you. But, like, that's a storyline. Who is the best team in the WNBA is a storyline. Then over here, not too far off, Let's talk about this WNBA rookie race. Let's talk about how well the Fever are playing. Oh, my goodness, right? Like, that's what you need as a league. The more positive storylines your league can get, and Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are absolutely one of those things, the better it is for the overall growth and health of your sport. Now, with all of that being said, you've got Caitlin Clark, who is a threat both going to the rim and from deep, right? She's working on the mid-range stuff.
She had a couple nice mid-range finishes.
She's got a floater now that is like,
recent, eyebrow raising.
If that is what she did during the Olympic break, I think everybody who's affiliated with the Fever are glad that she didn't make the roster. So she's got a floater that is not quite as good. Well, not quite. It's flat out not as good as when she gets to the rim. Also not as good as when she's stepping back taking threes. But it is good enough to keep defenses honest.
Serviceable.
So you've got that. You've got a player in Aaliyah Boston who might now be like a legitimate triple-double threat game in, game out. What she's able to do after setting the screen, getting to the open spot on the court, middle of the court, and then making the next pass, making the right pass next. I was so impressed by that. She got doubled on the block also a time or two and was able to pass out of those to wide open players from beyond the arc, and they're making shots now. It used to be, hey, who's going to make shots? Mitchell will. Definitely put it in Mitchell's hand. Caitlin Clark will. Definitely put it in her hand. And then if you get an emergence, like, I don't know if this is repeatable, but what Hole was able to do out there.
She was the number 6 pick in the draft 3 years ago. I will say this.
Who do you think is going to go out there, game in, game out, make 7 or 8 threes, right? Like, that's what I'm saying.
But it could be Lexi Hall. Like, if you can get that from Lexi Hall.
7 of 8.
I watched Lexi Hall.
7 of 8.
I watched Lexi Hall with my own eyeballs in person win her first state championship when she played at Central Valley High School in Spokane, Washington back in 2016. She and her sister, they're twins, Lacey and Lexi Hall, the Hall sisters. Everybody flooded into that gym because they wanted to see these two girls who don't miss ever. And watching Lexi Hall and then going to Stanford. And then she's had some rough opening seasons in the WNBA. But in terms of the vision, she's not that right now. But even Caitlin Clark said yesterday she's making her Twitter account a Lexi Hall Stan account. Because, yeah, if Lexi Hall can make those shots consistently.
She can't. Nobody can.
What if?
7 of 8. No, there is no what if.
I tell you.
But
you want to know what her and her sister's record was at Central Valley?
What?
102-6.
Okay, is that the WNBA?
No,
Then
but
I don't
I'm
give a
saying
damn.
it set the groundwork for somebody who eventually was the number 6 pick in the draft.
Can she go 3 of 8?
Fine.
But even doing that, either way it goes, 7 to 8, I think it's not. You think it is, whatever. Even if it's close to that.
Is she Steph Curry?
Steph Curry's not going 7 of 8 in the NBA. But if you are able to have 2 legitimate three-point threats outside of Caitlin Clark, and then you throw Caitlin Clark into the mix, along with what Aaliyah Boston is able to give you on the offensive side of the ball, that's a really tough team to defend.
And Aaliyah Boston being able to not be the number 1 option offensively. That was a question about Aaliyah Boston's game. Like, if you're not the number 1 option, what can you do in terms, especially in that half-court offense? And seeing her grow as a facilitator is huge. She's going to get rebounds. She gives you the post presence inside. And so it just helps the complete look of this team, who has talked about how important the off-season, not the off-season, but the off weeks with the Olympics were for them in building chemistry on and off the court, in going out and figuring out how to more consistently match Caitlin Clark's style of play, because she's going to be the driver for this team. And listen, we've said it all along, even when she was making the race at being the all-time points leader in college basketball, it's not her scoring. Her scoring is always going to be her calling card because it's the thing that you see, and she's going to pull it from the logo and you ooh and you ah, and that's really fun. But it's always been her passing that is what has made her game so impressive, and where she's been able to separate herself from not just being a shooter, but truly a leader of an offense and a true point guard in this situation for the Fever. So that game was fun. They beat the Storm by 17 points.
They leaned on them and then just flipped the switch and pulled away. And you don't see young teams capable of that part of the game.
Right. And the Storm missed a ton of shots, too. Like, I think it was a double-edged of the Fever have improved defensively.
Yeah.
And the Storm missed a ton of baskets yesterday.
Did they miss, or were they?
That's what I don't know.
Okay.
It felt like a mix.
It felt to me like they were just,
that
the Fever were playing good defense.
Yeah.
That's how it felt to me. I'd have to go back and watch it, but that's how it felt to me.
I don't know what's going on with Jewel Lloyd. I don't know what's going on with that team.
That team
And
is
that again
supposed
goes
to
back to the
be-
fact of I'm watching Jewel Lloyd, I'm watching Skylar Dickens-Smith, I'm watching Nneka Agwumike, and my brain consistently goes, Caitlin Clark is the best player on the court right now.
And it's not just Caitlin Clark is the best player on the court, but then the second best player on the court is Aaliyah Boston. And the
Kelsey Mitchell yesterday was
third best
probably
is
the-
Kelsey
yeah.
Mitchell, right? And then you throw Hull in there where if we said best 5 players on the court at any given moment, 4 of them are playing on the Fever, and that's not supposed to be happening to a team that's built like the Storm. Storm and the Aces really confuse and concern
Well, the
me.
Aces have some things going on.
Listen, you got to go out there and compete. Were these things going on? I guess they were going on. We weren't aware of how bad it was going to get at the start of the season. But, you're in the season now. You are the Aces. You do have an Asia Wilson who every game it feels like she's setting another record that she probably set in the first damn place. You're supposed to be...
She had 34 and 13
you're
yesterday.
supposed-
So look, we're going to stop it right there. Everything that they're touching on is 100% right. Look, Lexi Hall, and I've been saying this for the past month and a half, Lexi Hall should have been in the starting lineup. As you can see, it's very clear Caitlin Clark has a little bit of, not favoritism, but she clearly is bonding with Lexi Hall. They, over their break, they were out in Cancun together, spending time together, make this a Lexi Hall fan page. I saw Caitlin Clark post her, specifically found a picture of her and Lexi Hall on the court together to post that. I've seen multiple things. So Caitlin Clark is feeding towards Lexi Hall. She's showing that she wants Lexi Hall to be a part of this team. Now, with Lexi Hall feeling that from Caitlin, she's going to go out there and understand how Caitlin plays, and she's going to want to be a part of that. Now, everything that Sydney's saying, look, Lexi Hall is a bucket at Stanford. For those that don't know, she's put up 30-point games. Lexi Hall can do that. She's very possible of doing that. Okay? So what I'm going to tell you is this. If she continues, as stated, to even shoot 3 for 8, 4 from 8, contribute that, and play her defensive role, they're not even talking about the defense Lexi Hall brings. Lexi Hall plays defense. She's fast. She's long. She could rebound. She could pass. She could shoot. She could finish at the rim. She's going to run in transition. If you go watch the game versus Storm, how many easy buckets did she get just running, beating her defender down the court? The style of Iowa basketball is what got them as far as they were. It wasn't just, they're so talented, they're flooded with talent. No, Caitlin Clark brought an offensive tempo that is just contagious, and when everyone's bought in, you cannot stop that offense. I mean, you can, but you are going to be you're going to have to be locked in from start to finish to beat that team. That's how quick they are. If you blink, if you celebrate a shot, Caitlin Clark don't give a damn about no celebrating a shot unless she's hitting her own shit and she's already halfway down the court. But if you're celebrating a shot like I saw Diana Taurasi celebrate some jump shot she did, looking at the crowd, and Caitlin Clark is down the court, half court already, and then she blew past Brittany Griner, as Brittany Griner doing the ballerina dance trying to block her. You got to understand, all these passes from Caitlin Clark to Kelsey Mitchell puts her head down and she's a wide receiver on full sprint. And look, there it is. Caitlin rebound, boom. In a split of a second, Kelsey Mitchell and 1. It's easy. They're understanding. Go watch earlier on, and as stated, some of these turnovers, they're going to decrease in the second half. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. And you know what? When you're a point guard who plays at that type of speed and you just want to get the ball out, you're making the right plays, but sometimes your teammates aren't adapted to that play style. They haven't played that type of speed of basketball. They don't have that basketball mind of just go. You know who plays like how Caitlin plays like LaMelo Ball, Lonzo Ball as a point guard standpoint. Get the ball out and go. Get the ball out and go. Why do you think Chino Hills, Lonzo Ball and Chino Hills was running them? Because it was 3 players who knew how to get out and go. And then they had the other groups that they've been playing with their whole life. The assets around the main 3. And they understand. We get out and we go. They're beating teams 100 or whatever. That's high school. I get it. But I'm trying to give you guys a perspective of when you have someone who plays a certain play style, it might take a couple games or actually some months, a year to adapt to that play style. Once you adapt though, bro, it's literally going to be a hard team to beat. And they can knock down shots. They can spread the floor. They got 3 ball handlers on the court at all times. They got 2 bigs. The 2 bigs can easily take you off the dribble. Aaliyah Boston, as stated, look at her. You know, there's situations where she's setting up perfect passes for Kelsey Mitchell for a 3-ball. You know, she's doing the dirty work down there. Just had 15 rebounds. Almost, I think she needed 2 rebounds and 1 more assist for a triple-double or something like that. And, you know, the whole team is just clicking. So, based off turnovers, Caitlin Clark's teammates understand now how to play how she's playing. They had to adapt. And it wasn't, I think Chrissy Sides made a big mistake. You're trying to have Caitlin adapt to Indiana's offense, and no. You need to adapt to Caitlin Clark's game. Caitlin Clark's game. She's going to get you the open looks. She's going to beat the defense down the court. She's going to play smart. She's going to open up your game. She's going to give you the opportunities to make your shots. If you play the right style of basketball, because guess what? When you play that style of basketball, now the defense is guessing everything. Damn, is she going to shoot? Is she going to drive it again and pick and roll? Oh my gosh. Now every time we rebound, we got to get down. And now guess what? The team, they're probably not as in shape as the Indiana Fever because they run like that every single day. As stated in some interviews, Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark does not get tired. She just sprints all day. Sprints. I'm sure there's a little bit of limitation to that, but you know, just the point is Caitlin Clark wants to play fast basketball. The assets around her are understanding that. They're buying in. They had a great break, clearly. The intensity's up, and they're just playing exciting basketball. And here's another thing. One of my subscribers pointed this out. I did a reaction to the Chicago Sky game on my other channel. And I was a little frustrated watching that game. It was a little frustrating. It was boring. Wasn't much going on. Just a lot of just nonsense, laziness, it looked like. When you watch an Indiana Fever game and you go watch a game like that, you really have to be patient and really understand that Indiana Fever plays a really good style of basketball. Really good style. And then you go watch some of these other teams, it's not, I don't know, it don't have that spark. So as stated, Sydney saying, like, for me, I make time. I know when the Fever are playing. I set my gym time around that, what I'm doing, whatever the case is. I'm excited to watch it. I really wish there was more games in the season. Which I know all that will come and all that, but man, this is the most exciting basketball we've seen in a while. I mean, look at the All-Star game. How exciting was that? Look at these past 2 games. These are playoff environments. Seattle Storm, Indiana Fever. You got a packed out house at Indiana. The fans are going crazy. All teams are clicking. 3-ball after 3-ball. It's a young team, man, and I'm telling you, they continue to play like this. This is a problem. They're going to make the playoffs, and they could push for that 6th seed. They could push far in the playoffs. I'm telling you now, man. So look, I'm going to leave this right here for you guys. We got a lot more content to get to. I appreciate all the new subscribers, everybody leaving comments. I'm reading them all. You guys are hilarious. There's so much funny stuff on there, but guys, remember, I'm out here trying to push content for you guys. Bear with me. I'll get back to all the comments. I appreciate you guys, man. I'll catch you on the next video. We out.